So he showed me what Twitch was, and I was just like, wait a minute. Because at the time, I was the president of the PTA. I was gaming, and these moms hated it. Like, they were so pissed off at me for
They knew you
promoting
were a
video
gamer?
game. Yeah, they knew that I was like, because I was like, oh guys, like, I'm playing this video game and I love it, and I joined a team, and these moms are looking at me sideways, and all I wanted, like, Becky, go get back in your BMW and shut the fuck up. Like,
Hey, she's a beauty.
Welcome to Tarducks, a podcast for content creators to come and share their experience and their life stories. And I am super excited to have the most respected person, one of the most respected people in our Tarkov community. Welcome.
hi, thank you, thanks for having me.
I'm so happy you're here. So what we normally do is we start off with 3 quick questions just to get things rolling. So first question is favorite movie.
Oh, that's a good one. Emperor's New Groove.
All right. Favorite music on favorite playlist from Spotify.
I actually have a bunch of like EDM type ones. And then I have a couple of like 80s and 90s, rock or punk that I probably enjoy the most, even when I'm not streaming.
All right. And then finally, last concert you went to.
I don't go to concerts ever. We have a concert coming up for 21 Pilots in September here, and I bought all of my kids tickets to go to that together, and I'm not even going. Yeah, but honestly, I can't really remember. Off the top of my head, probably ZZ Top, I guess, would be my last one. Yeah, they performed, actually set up their event in Vegas.
No way.
And yeah, because that's all I did. I was an events manager, and so yeah, saw them, met them. It was really cool.
Yeah, I saw that Netflix special on them, and that was really good. I had no idea how long they had been around and some of the music they played.
Dude, it's crazy, and they're super laid back. Like, when I grow up, I want to be like them.
Yeah. All right. So let's start things off. Where did the name Sigma come from?
So I actually have my master black belt and my lean belt in something called Six Sigma.
Okay.
And it's not karate. I know most people are like, oh God, it's karate. But yeah, so I have that, and it's basically a lot about process improvement and just studying a process and how can you streamline it, working with teams. And so when I went to go pick a name, my husband was like, you can't just like throw your real name out there. Like, and I was like, this is crazy. I've never been a gamer. I have to go by something else. So I was playing a game at the time called Splatoon, and it has a bunch of ink in it. So I was like, okay, Sigma Inc. And it was funny because I went to Twitch and I tried to get the name Sigma and it was taken. And I was like, how is this name taken? Like, nobody even knows what a Twitch is. Like, it's so funny. And, obviously you get into the world and you're like, oh shit, I can't believe I didn't think that there was this many people here. So
Yeah, Six Sigma, that's a big accomplishment.
Thanks. I appreciate it. I'm very competitive, and my husband came home one day and he was like, so I just got my green belt in this thing called Six Sigma. And he was like explaining it to me, and I was like, wow, that actually sounds really interesting. And so next thing you know, I was like knee deep in statistics and crying and frustrated and like, no, I'm going to do this, damn it. And so, yeah, I got all the different belts you could possibly get other than sensei. I'm not a sensei. So, yeah.
So I guess you already answered the question, what was your background? So you an events manager in Vegas?
Yeah, so I started out when I was really young, working for the city of Henderson in Vegas, and I spent about a decade with them, and I just learned all about putting on events, and I had a fabulous boss who would just she took me under her wing, and she was amazing and taught me all about like contracts and how it works to actually bring in these really big names. And I just loved the chaos of it. I'm totally ADD and I'm all over the place. So I don't like things that are only like repetitive. And so putting on events for all different kinds of things, anywhere from Lee Greenwood to the symphony coming in to the Bushes came in and spoke at our our place, and yeah, it was just like all these random things were going on, and I was like, this is so cool. I love this. It keeps me interested. So ran with that, took my talent to the Strip and started working for some of the different casinos out there, and got to see some really cool big names and be behind the scenes. And I just thought it was so fun. Like, it has to be organized, and I love organization. So it was all a good fit.
Yeah. Oh, excellent. So you're originally from the West Coast?
Yeah, I was born and raised out in Vegas, and then we moved to California because my husband was in the military.
Yeah.
And so we spent about a decade in California.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And what was the decision to move east?
To get the hell out of California.
Yeah.
It's just way too expensive, and we're over the heat. I had no desire to go back to Vegas. Sorry if anybody's from Vegas and they're listening, but if you're born and raised there, it's just lame. And so I just wanted to experience like a place that was green and actually had like humidity and trees. And so we moved to, we're in like the Charlotte area, and absolutely love it. Like, I'm so grateful every day I get to open my windows and there's like trees out there, and yeah, it's cool. It's so cool.
How was your first winter? Because, temperature is a little bit different.
Yeah, no, it was totally fine. Honestly, it gets really cold in the desert. People probably don't like think that, but it's always windy. It's like bone chilling cold. And so I was okay with it, and it was nice. We actually got snow here, so for like 4 days the kids were sledding, and my desert rat, personality was like, this is awesome. So yeah.
Oh, excellent. So now, when did you start gaming?
I started gaming. I was totally against gaming, by the way. I was literally that wife that was like, oh my God, he's on his PlayStation again, or, whatever, like with Hotel. And I even tried Call of Duty with him when we first started dating, because of course, all the girls do it. Like, oh yeah, babe, I'll play with you. This is totally fine. And I was so angry at it because I couldn't figure it out quickly. I was like, just livid. I remember putting the controller down and going to the fridge and getting a beer and being like, I don't want to play that dumb shit. I'm going to go smoke a cigarette, and went outside. So anyway, fast forward, I'm totally a mom. I'm like, listen, we don't play video games. It's a waste of time, yada, yada. And our youngest son, our only son, he asked us for Splatoon for Christmas. And we don't even have we didn't have the system. We had nothing. But God damn it, if this boy is not my world, right? So I'm like, babe, we've got to get him this, whole setup. And so we get it Christmas morning, and Hotel gets it all set up for him. And I shit you not, this kid looked over at me and was like, okay, Mom, now play. And I was like,
oh God,
I'm not doing this. Like, I can't play video games. I suck at video games, and I don't want to waste my time. And 6 months later, I was on a competitive team for Splatoon.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because I'm ridiculous. So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then what made, first of all, speaking of Christmas, I know on our holiday pod, you told us that you were getting your son a poker table. Was he totally shocked and surprised?
Yeah, it was super cool. So it's downstairs. I should actually send you a picture. I totally will. It's all set up right next to all of our arcade machines. And, he's got all the different suits on the wall because, it's beautiful. I love it. So he's always down there, and you can hear him playing with his chips. He's got a huge set of personalized chips that he had modeled after the Rio in Vegas. It's where they hold their championships and whatnot. So, they look like the World Series of Poker chips from, I think it was like 2009 or 2010 or I can't remember what year it was, but he was like, these ones are the cool ones. And I was like, all right. So for his birthday, everybody in the family pitched in, and we surprised him and got him his own set. So now he has a poker table and his own full set of chips.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So now, how do we go from Splatoon to Tarkov? That's a huge,
Yeah, no, it was. Hold on. So I was playing Splatoon, And this is how ignorant I was to anything going on. So I'm on a competitive team. I'm like still learning how to use Discord, and my team has a competition. So I'm like, cool, I'm still new to this, but I can play this fucking game. I was a sniper and I was really good at it. And so we play this game, and like a couple days later, one of my teammates sends me a clip, which at the time I had no idea what a clip was. And it's of these casters being like, oh my God, there goes Sigma. He's such a good sniper. Like just talking about me. And it's my gameplay, my view. And I was like, what is this? So I, ran to hotel and I was like, babe, like people are talking about me. What is this? And he's like, that's Twitch. And I was like, what the fuck is a Twitch? And I had no idea because it was just me chilling in my living room playing this game when the kids were at school. Literally, that's what it was. So he told me, like, people watch other people play video games. And I remember thinking, how ridiculous. Like, you're joking, right? Like, why would somebody watch somebody else play a video game when you could just play it yourself?
Yeah.
And he's like, no, it's actually really big. And so he showed me what Twitch was. And I was just like, wait a minute. Because at the time, I was the president of the PTA. I was gaming. And these moms hated it. Like, they were so pissed off at me for promoting video game. Yeah, they knew that I was like, because I was like, oh guys, like, I'm playing this video game and I love it, and I joined a team, and these moms were looking at me sideways, and all I wanted, like, Becky, go get back in your BMW and shut the fuck up. Like, so frustrated with them. So they were being really shitty to me. And so I found out about Twitch, and I was like, let me get this straight. I can go play video games, and people that also like that video game might come by and hang out with me, and we can bullshit. And Hotel was like, yeah. And I was like, I want to do this. I want to do this right now. This is so cool. And so that was in like November. So I got a Twitch account, and in January, he bought me a laptop for my birthday, because my birthday is January 6th. Yeah. And I think January 9th, I started streaming. And I was so excited. I was like, this is just so cool. I'm going to stream on the weekends, and I never ever planned on making it a career or anything. I just wanted friends to hang out with me that weren't assholes and actually enjoyed the game. So that's how it started. I just kind of streamed here and there and had a blast. And I was really like I remember hoping and praying, like, dude, if I could get 10 people to watch my stream, that's so much conversation. That'll be so fun. Yeah. So, somebody that I super duper looked up to had 400 followers. I thought the guy was a god, and he was really nice, and he helped me get everything like kind of set up in the background, and Hotel was helping me with all the tech in the front, and boom, there I started streaming. And then Hotel came home one day, and he was like, everybody's talking about a game called PUBG. And so I looked it up, and I was like, I think I was watching Dr. Disrespect or Shroud play it. Yeah. And I was like, oh, this looks kind of cool. Like, I kind of like this. So I downloaded it to my laptop, and I got everything set up, and I was like, okay, cool. Like, I'm going to drop in from the plane. I dropped, and I literally I died because I didn't know how to jump. I didn't know that the space bar was jump, because I had never played on a keyboard before. Yeah. I was like hitting J and H for hop. Like, I was like, how the hell do you do this? Because all I knew was WASD. Yeah. And and I remember dying, and I got super panicked in the game, and I was like, well, that's it. And I closed it, and I was like, I'm not talking about this for a while. And then a couple days went by, and I was like, babe, I'm trying to play this fucking game, and I don't know how to do it. And he was like, oh my God, it's the space bar. And I was like, don't talk to me. Don't talk to me. So long story short, I got into PUBG and had fun with that for a little while, and realized like it felt kind of janky. No offense to anybody. It started feeling like janky, and I was only like 50 hours into it. It wasn't like a big commitment. And my mod just happened to say, you should check out a game called Escape from Tarkov. And so I downloaded that. Hotel and I both did. I talked for weeks about what a piece of shit it was and how horrible it was to have to manage all the different mags and stuff, right? Yeah. And then went back to PUBG for those couple weeks while I was talking shit about Tarkov, and then just my competitive side kicked in and I got really mad. And I was like, this game isn't going to get the better of me. I'm going to be good at this game. Like one day I'm going to be a good teammate. That was my only goal, was to be a half decent teammate. And so there you go.
That was it. So
I
now
know,
were you
long story.
That's okay. This is what this pod's all about. So were you streaming the whole time PUBG and then streamed over, started with Tarkov as well, or were you learning those in the background?
No, I just did it on just while everybody was watching.
Cool.
It wasn't like I had a huge following with the Splatoon or anything.
Yeah.
Like hitting 10 or 15 viewers was mind-boggling. And then they actually came to watch me play PUBG. And now in hindsight, I realize they came to watch me fall on my ass with PUBG is what they came over for.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is fine. It's good. I would do it too. But yeah, they were all really cool. And the mod that had been with me for Splatoon, he was like the one that had suggested Tarkov. He's still my mod to this day. Like he's watched all of this happen. So it's been awesome.
That was going to be one of my first other questions was, do you remember your first mod and your first sub? So your mod's still there.
So I know my first, I remember my first sub, and they were also my first mod, but they are not around anymore. But Riz, Flying Riz is my first like real official mod that was like, I've got this handled, set up bots for me and all of that. And kind of told me how that all works in the background. So yeah. And now he's my manager.
Oh,
so, wow. Yeah.
Now, when did you become a partner or a Twitch partner?
It was 2 years ago in February, and it took me 7 applications.
Yeah.
Over a year of averaging 100.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they didn't approve anybody back then. That was back like Willers and I got partnered around the same time. He had the same thing, 7 applications. Baddie had 6 applications. I think Kings at the time was the only one that got away with 1 or 2 applications.
Yeah.
So it was like, it was really hard back then. It was bonkers. I'd heard back when Twitch actually had kicked off, it was more like you had to average 500, which I would really like to see now. Not necessarily partners having to average 500, but I would like to see a step between affiliate and partner. Because I feel like everybody tries to do that partner push, which is not healthy.
Yeah.
And then they get really discouraged. That's where I get a lot of messages from people in streamer class. They'll be like, listen, I'm hitting the 75. I just got to get partner. Or they'll hit partner and then their numbers will fall back down to like 60. And and it hurts. It really does hurt. And they can't figure out what's going on. So some type of other milestone for us to shoot for, I think would be amazing. So
yeah. And also when you get that level of, say you have that next level and it's 500 or whatnot, maybe there is something in place to help the streamers, because you're not getting that number doing part-time. You're full-time invested into that. Maybe you have some sort of health care or time off or something, because like you were saying, it's not healthy to put all that time in. And if you're, if you're not lucky enough to have a spouse who has benefits, or you live in Canada where you got the health care, down here you're kind of screwed.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. If you aren't bringing in brand deals, if you aren't bringing in different sponsorships, I truly don't know how people can make it only working 40 hours a week, because you have to incorporate YouTube into it and social media.
Yeah.
Which takes editing. And if you're not doing the editing yourself and you're paying an editor, well, now you have to afford the editor. And if you're not doing your social media yourself, you have to pay for a social media manager. And it becomes honestly ridiculous. So I don't know how people do it. I really don't. Because if I had to make what we were making before Hotel retired just on my lonesome, I would probably be streaming 60 hours a week plus 30 to 40 hours behind the scenes.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. So, speaking of Hotel, how did you guys meet?
Oh, I was dating his best friend. Seriously. I was dating his best friend, and nothing serious. We weren't like, boyfriend, girlfriend, or anything like that. We were just seeing each other. And he said that his friend was coming home from being deployed. And he said, he's from the Midwest, and we call him Bubba. and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay. And I'm thinking like some, I don't know, like buck tooth overall wearing. I don't know what I was envisioning, right? I will never forget the first time I saw him. He was unloading his bags. Like he had just came off the plane from overseas.
Yeah.
And he was unloading his bags, and he had like the 2 big military green bags and a shirt with no sleeves. And his arms were just like stacked. Like this guy looked like a refrigerator walking at me. And I was like, oh my God. And he would not talk to me to save his life. He like barely gave me like the what's up nod. And I was like, what? Hello? Like, why would this guy talk to me? And so then I made it a point to like try to say hi more often. And then, anyway, so the guy I was dating got deployed, and it was just, you know, like 3 or 4 week, like a few dates here and there.
Yeah.
And I was working for the city of Henderson at the time, and I was also working 2 other jobs, and one of them was cocktailing at a country bar. And who freaking walks in but
no
hotel?
Way.
And that was it. Like, we haven't left each other since.
Oh,
So,
wow.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
Yeah, it was like 60, 70 years ago, something like that. But I still remember it like it was yesterday.
Oh, that's so awesome. That's so cool. So
Yeah.
now, back to streaming. So what has been the what was the toughest thing about trying to stream full time or turn it into a career?
The kids.
Yeah.
That was the roughest part. My kids actually, so my oldest was away at college, but my 3 were at home, and I was dead set on making partner, and I just started streaming like crazy. And also the tournaments, I had started the tournaments. So not only was I streaming, but then I was trying to organize the tournaments in the background, and try to, you know, be the good mom and all. It was just a hot mess. And so they sat me down, and they were really pissed. They were like, Mom, this isn't working. Like you're not present. And I remember that just absolutely killed me, because as a mom or a parent, you know, dads go through it too.
Yeah.
You're like, oh shit, this is, you know, supposed to be my everything. And I was really upset, because the goal was like, I have my degree, I have all this experience, I went out and got my 6 Sigma belts. I was going to go to work after hotel retired, and I could go pursue my own career. But after streaming started working, I was like, wait a minute. Once he retires, I can make this up, and we could all actually be at home together.
Yeah.
So I was like pushing really hard for it, and I had to back off a little bit, because the kids were like, this isn't cool. So that was, to me, like the hardest part. And I didn't realize that it is 100% a business if you want to be serious about it. And with running any business, that takes a laundry list of stuff you have to do. So that's always shocking.
And now, what advice would you have for somebody who's just starting out into streaming and content creation?
If they're just starting out to have fun, then go out and have fun with it. If you are dead set on making this a career, then you need to pay attention to your brand. You need to get your brand on point. You need to get your social media on point, and you need to go network. I see it happen all the time, and it's so frustrating that they will just stick in their own bubble, you know, and they'll be like, well, I only go to this streamer. I only raid people that, God bless them, they'll be like, I only raid people that have like 4 or 5 viewers. If you are shooting, let's say you have 5 to 10 viewers on average, you should be hosting people that have 15 to 20 viewers on average. Don't go host that big guy, because you're really hoping he might see you, and one day down the road he might send you a big raid that I promise you're not prepared for. New streamers are not prepared for it. So get out there and network with all the guys that are around your size and lift each other up. I would spend probably 4 or 5 hours a week in other people's streams. That would be a huge advice. You know, go visit, even if it's 2 streams a day, 20 minutes in the morning, 2 streams in the evening, 20 minutes. Like, just get out there and network. People just don't do it enough. They just, like I said, they find their bubble of friends, and then that's it.
So now, when did you start getting involved in the community, the Tarkov community, before you started the tournaments? Was it a natural thing just because you're streaming live and you're interacting with the other streamers and whatnot, or the community?
Yeah, so I really, like I said, I was focused on not being a bad teammate. That was the
Yeah.
whole goal. So I would go and watch other streamers and I would ask a lot of questions, and I wouldn't watch big streamers. I would actually go and watch 10 viewer streamers
Yeah.
because they actually interact with their chat. And I would
Right.
look at their title to be like, are they experienced enough? Are they chill? Will they answer my questions? Will they not treat me like I'm stupid? And so I would just go in and watch all of these streams and ask questions and just try to get better at it. And then what I realized is I would start my stream and I would have one mod that was going to help out. Well, then before I know it, some of the people that I hung out in their streams would come by and be like, oh, hey, what's going on? Oh yeah, do you want me to come in? I'll run a few raids with you and I'll show you where that item is you need to find or whatever.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, I just started running with everybody that way. And then when I got half decent, I was like, hey guys, every Friday, every Saturday, if you guys need help with something, I'm happy to go into a raid with you. So that kind of started the helping out the community in the way that I could.
Oh, cool. And then when did the team get formed, or when did you become part of the team? And for those that don't know, what is the team?
So the team is actually something that Pestily and Slush Puppy and Ghost Freak started. I believe the three of them started it. Veritas came on, Anton came on, and then they asked me to be a part of it about a month or two before I made partners. So it would have been New Year's of 2019.
Wow.
I think so. I don't know if I have the years right on that. I think it's 2019. It might be 2020. It might have been 2020. But yeah, I mean, I've known Pest since he was 40 or 50 viewers, and he has not changed. He's still the most down to earth, helpful person that I know. So yeah, when they asked me to come be on the team, I was like, oh my God. I felt like I got more excited about that than I did making partner at that point. I was like, fuck this shit. I've been doing this for a year trying to make partner. Let's just focus on the team. This is so cool.
And now, what was the purpose of the team? For the people who don't know what a streamer team is, it's basically sort of, you guys all sort of got each other's back and...
Yeah, so I mean, different stream teams do different things.
Yeah.
But with the guys, it's been very supportive. There's a lot of things that come up in the streaming business, oh shit, guys, how much, for example, how much are you putting away for taxes? Or, you know what, I got this contract in. Does this sound right to you? Should I change this? Or this is the amount that so-and-so offered. And this month they only offered this, whatever it might be. But you could be some stream teams I've seen that they only send hosts to each other. They don't actually have meetings or chit chat. Yeah, there's been a lot. We've teamed up on different things. We've had podcasts, but every stream team can be a little bit different. And sometimes they're really interactive with each other. Sometimes they're just there to BS when you need them to. So it's all over the place. Yeah.
So now you also have, because you wear many hats, streamer class. What is streamer class?
Yeah. So I realized that I was spending 10 to 15 hours a week responding to people's messages that were asking for help about their stream or streaming or how to get in the career or how do I get my first contract, whatever it was. I was going in and I was reviewing their channels and I was literally handwriting notes because I like to handwrite in my notebook. So I was just writing all these notes down and then just sending them, a picture of that notebook and being hey, work on these things. And next thing you know, I was like, you know what? I keep getting the same questions about A, B, and C. And I thought if I just make a website or do a podcast or somewhere that I could get this info out. And then when somebody comes by and says, hey, what do I do about this? I can say, go watch this video. Yeah. And so that's when I decided, okay, we're going to start that and get this off the ground. I actually have an interview tomorrow with Dottie Hack.
Oh, cool.
because I want to get back on track with more interviews on Streamer Class. I have
Yeah.
like a whole freaking 3 or 4 pages of content for Streamer Class. Because if somebody asks a question, I know they're probably like, oh, damn, I asked Sigma this and she didn't pay attention. I actually write it down. I write down everything. And then I'll just put a little mark next to it on like, oh, that got asked again. Oh, the shit, that got asked again. And so I'll move it to the top of the list to make a video about. Yeah, I love it. It's honestly, it makes me so happy. It's one of the things. It's like Evasion, like watching Evasion grow. Is like such a proud moment for me. And the same thing with Streamer Class. Anytime somebody comes by and they're like, "This helped me," or "I found this interview hilarious. Thanks for doing it." I'm like, "Oh my god, yes."
Yeah, have you thought about doing consulting from a Streamer Class standpoint? Somebody who wants to get their feet off the ground, sort of hire you as a consultant. Has that been, thought about?
No, it's been asked. I haven't really put too much thought into it. I thought about actually making like a real class, and PDFs. I've outlined a bunch of PDFs that I thought would be helpful for people to use. But for right now, it's just been. You're like the third person this week. I kid you not that has said something like that. Yeah, no, I don't know if the universe is trying to send me signs here, but for right now, it's fun. Like I'm having such a great time just talking to people and trying to make informative videos. So
excellent. Well, you just you turn it into a class, and Veritas will definitely help you get everything all lined up and whatnot.
God, he's one of my most favorite people that walk the earth. I love that dude.
He is awesome. I got the notice that I got YouTube partner today, and I was like, I think back, it was really, he came on our other podcast. He was our first guest, and it's just all along he's just been supportive, and it's just it's so cool.
Yeah,
the community, and him.
Yeah, he's such a good friend, and he's definitely a cheerleader for people that are trying to go after things, you know, and you always get an honest opinion out of him. That's the thing too. You don't go to him and he's not going to just blow smoke up your ass. He'll actually tell you. Because I brought a few different things to him and like, hey V, can you look at this? Or I don't feel right about this. And he's always been there.
Yep, he has. So now talking about the community, I've had, every guy who's been on my pod has said, what a great community is for Tarkov. The females, the ladies we have in Tarkov are fantastic. They kick ass, and they just, they're great people. You've been here for a while. Has it been like that for you from day one, or have you, what have you seen from a change standpoint?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a stark difference in the amount of people that were around when I started over 4 years ago, I guess now. But they've all pretty much maintained, like we've had a few waves of like random streamers that'll come in only when the game is hot.
Yeah.
And run their mouth for a little while because they're very used to other communities and how they function.
Oh, okay.
And then they leave. So you go through your waves. But I know when I started Tarkov, there was only 3 of us girls that played Tarkov. And I set up a ladies' night for all 3 of us to play, and one of us got sick, and so it just ended up being me and Basic Chick together, and that was it. And her and I just ran around Tarkov having the first ladies' night because we didn't have anybody else that played Tarkov. So as far as the females go, and now you look around, and you and I could sit here tonight, and if I had to just write it down without looking anywhere, I don't know if I can make the complete list tonight. I doubt it, which is mind-boggling. I think it's so cool. But yeah, overall vibe is really good here.
Yeah, that's excellent. Yeah, I was talking to Nikita too. She was on an earlier pod, and it's just everyone who I talk to, they bring up you, and they just, you're just like you're their mentor. They just have so much respect for you, and it's just so cool. And
Aw, I'm super flattered by that. That's so awesome, especially from like people like Nixia or Victoria, like great women. There's so many awesome women in the community, and there's been a few spats here and there, and a couple that I've been involved in myself. I've had to apologize and learn to maybe just shut up sometimes. But we've all seemed to just move past it pretty quickly, and the negative ones. I've realized that the Tarkov community, either the negative people go and hang out with the negative ones, And then the people that are being like super negative are just kind of ignored. Like they're just kind of left behind, you know, and sometimes they pop up and they're like, I fucking hate this community because everybody's so stuck up or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And nobody ever pays attention because I think we're just a little bit older. We're a little bit over the fit throwing. So most of us, you know, me, I'm like, what, 84, 85? I tend to just move past it. I don't have time left.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
No,
it's good.
And what I've noticed is it doesn't matter if you're like a top tier streamer or just starting out. There's the communication is just everybody's not afraid or to help each other, and which is it's really cool.
Yeah, no, that's true. I don't think that there's too many top streamers in Tarkov. I mean, I know of a few that would probably flat out ignore people, but there's not very many of them, which is really big for a gaming community to be able to say that, you know? I mean, that goes all the way to what the emissaries and the Sherpas, like BSG's done a great job, in my opinion, of trying to build up the community on their side, you know? So hats off to everybody all around.
All right, we're changing the order. I had that was a question of mine down the road, but might as well jump into that. You mentioned the emissaries. You're an emissary for BSG. What is the emissary program?
So the emissary program in general is very umbrella for being able to help the community, but we all have our own individual jobs. So I'm community outreach for NA, and that involves community events and things like that, you know, checking in. If somebody has a problem, they can write me and say, you know, if they're in NA and say, hey, Sig, you know, I'm just having this problem. These are all the steps that I've done to take it, to try to take care of it, excuse me. And here's my ticket number. You know, that's always the first step. I think a lot of people will just reach out to me and be like, yeah, my game's broke. And I'm like, okay, what exactly happened? Do you have an example of when it happened? Can you break it all down for me, exactly what was going on at the time, and tell me your ticket number? A lot of people forget that they can file a ticket. So, you know, just try to help that way. And like I said, we all have our own individual jobs. There's actually a lot of emissaries that nobody knows about that are out there combating other issues, testing issues. I don't know how to describe the amount of volunteership in this community between streamers that volunteer their time to raise money, streamers that are volunteering their time to Sherpa, people that are volunteering their time behind the scenes that nobody will ever know about them to try to help the community. Like, it's mind-boggling.
Now, how did you become an emissary?
I was a Sherpa for a year and a half, and then I got approached and they said, hey, you know, you put on a bunch of community events. Would you be interested in focusing on that for NA and beyond? And I was like, yeah, hell yeah. Like, Evasion is, you know, really starting to take off, and I would absolutely love that. So I went through an interview process, and you know, you have to write reports every month and check in and whatnot. And I stay up on that, and here we are.
Oh, wow. And now Evasion. It is such, you know, like the smile on your face. You're just so proud of what it is. And what made you start it? How did it all, you know, how did it come to life?
Yeah. So, there'll be some name dropping in here. I kind of cringe at myself for doing this, but I want to give credit where credit is genuinely due. So, back in the day when the servers were actually dead, not the bullshit that people call dead now, right? Like, actually dead, we were all just bored out of our minds. And so there was no ping restriction back then. And so all of us streamers would get together, and I organized it to where I said, okay, we're going to load into interchange on this server, you know, during day. Okay, everybody go. And then we would just fight each other. And chat would be like, you know, but where's this person at? And where's this person at? And I realized if I just removed myself and I streamed the multi-view, then we could all watch what was going on, right? And so I did that. And then next thing you know, it was like, well, let's do it again this weekend. Let's do it again next weekend. And then it became, well, so-and-so won that weekend and so-and-so won this weekend. Why don't we make them fight it out? And then, you know, Hotel was like, you're fucking running a full-blown tournament at this point. And I was like, oh, okay, because I don't know anything about esports. I can run an event like it's nobody's business,
Right.
but I don't know about esports. And of course, everybody was like, well, Tarkov really isn't esports. And I was like, I don't know the damn difference, but whatever, especially back then. And so I just kept doing that over and over and over again. And then it became season 1 and then season 2. And then, season 3 was coming up and it was like, oh my gosh. And then Code Red approached me because they had heard through the community that I was the only one putting on tournaments. And I was like, yeah. And they said, how do you run yours? And yada, yada. And I talked to him for a brief second and then I didn't hear from him again. And so then I heard Dr. Disrespect was getting into it even more. Obviously, he was very involved with Code Red at that time, and I'm sure still is. But I happened to be running with Bnans a lot. I had taught her Tarkov. And her and I were talking one day and I said, I don't know what to do because I want to be involved in Code Red and help them because I don't believe that they know what the Tarkov community truly wants. If you literally only make it kills, it can get very boring on maps.
Yeah.
If they want to pick a whole bunch of maps. And she said they will not work with Sigma, but they probably would work with a business. And I was like, oh, and she said, Sig, you gotta go make a business. And I was like, oh, okay. And I think that was like January 21st of 2020.
Yeah.
And January 23rd, Evasion was born. And I freaking got the channel. I bought the website. I got all of my socials. Like I got all lined out and got it set up, made the Discord. And then next thing you know, Code Red contacted me again. And I had like all this information in the server. And they were like, oh, wow, yeah, this looks really cool. And then I never heard from them again. And then they did a tournament that I completely didn't agree with.
Yeah.
And that was that. And so I was like, all right, well, now we have this thing, Evasion, where I have everything hosted, like I'm moving everything over there. And I remember one of my friends wrote me and he was like, what do you think you're going to do with this? And I was like, I'm going to make it huge. And he was like, okay, like the eye roll emoji. And I was like,
he doesn't know you.
Okay, watch me. So here we are.
Wow. Now I saw you were like a caster or you were co-hosting a Twitch Rivals for Tarkov. Was that in between Evasion or before Evasion started?
The joke is, what's a Twitch Rivals? No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I got asked to cast because they had heard about what I was doing with tournaments. They asked me to cast, and so I think I've done 3 of them now. 3 or 4. Twitch Rivals that I've casted, maybe 3.
Yeah.
And I freaking love it. It's a lot of fun. I'm usually behind the scenes of Evasion and trying to help with all the other stuff. So when I get to actually cast for something, I'm like, this is amazing. I can just sit here and bullshit and watch the gameplay. I love it. So I've had a lot of fun with that.
Okay. So now your first tournament under Evasion, who were the people that were in behind the scenes that were like, helping you get this up and running? And was BSG a part of this, or was this really just okay?
Yeah, no, BSG was like, you're doing great. And that was because I think I started harassing them like season 1 or 2. I was like, I think I could do something with this. Can you please pay attention to me? And they were like, no, we're good.
Yeah.
So I just kind of took it as like a prove yourself type situation. I get mad or pissed off. I just let my work speak for itself. But there were so many people. I mean, really, all of my mods. There was like Epic Failure Dave. I'm gonna feel so bad if I name people because I know I'm gonna leave some out. Garlemmm was around. Brian Berou, like he's huge. He like does so much stuff behind the scenes. That's bonkers. There was a lot of other streamers that were cheering me on and giving me their input because feedback is really important.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was a ton of us. So those were some of my original, like just battle mods. Like they were just helping me figure out how to do this because we thought it was really, really important to have somebody in a voice channel just explaining all of the rules the questions that would come up, because we're putting out such basic rules.
Yeah.
Such a, that they'd be like, well, what if I do this? And I was like, I can't stop the show to jump in a voice channel to
Right.
tell you. So we had battle mods there, and we would just go over the rule set very thoroughly.
Yeah.
Brian started taking notes and saying, okay, guys, here's my notes. So if this happens, do this. And so he started sharing it with others. And next thing you know, it was like, well, if anybody new was going to come on, they're going to read Brian's notes. Now there's a full-blown battle mod handbook and class that he does. And yeah, it's crazy.
Well, it's
you know?
it's crazy. Every, a lot of the people who I come on as guests, I was like, oh yeah, they're Evasion. Wildez, Unfluffy Bunny, garlemmm. Garlemmm was guest number 2. I was like, oh my God, everybody I bring on, they're tied to Evasion. It's so
somehow.
fantastic. Yeah, it's wonderful. And
yeah, it's definitely by the community for the community type feeling.
Yeah, and all of them just, again, nothing but positive respect for you, and they love you. It's just so cool.
It's so flattering. I love them too.
And the last 2 weekends have been fantastic from an Evasion standpoint. The quality of the product we're watching, the casting, it is just it's such a professional finished product. What do you think? It's got to be like, just blows your mind on how well it's turned out.
Yeah, it's kind of shocking because when I started it, I would run it on OBS and I would get it all set up and all their names and yada yada, and I would cast it at the same time and bring on a co-caster with me, right? And we would just watch it and BS. And then it was like, well, what if I could do this in OBS, and what if I could add like a scoreboard somewhere, and we'll do it through Stream Elements, and Brian will update it in the background. Like there has never been a point where we have been comfortable and satisfied with our production. We made a huge investment into something called VMIX, and I say a huge investment because it wasn't just that we were buying, the pro version of VMIX. It's that there was therapy that I had to pay because I was so mad at this goddamn program because I couldn't figure it out. And by therapy, I mean, I went and bought a 6-pack, and thank you, Hotel, for taking over how to do the production. Because I was like, oh, babe, I'll do this on my own. It's fine. Like, VMIX will totally help me. And I spent, I think, 2 days fucking around with VMIX. And I was like, clearly, I cannot do this. And my dad used to tell me growing up that sometimes figuring out what you don't want to do in your life is knowing what you literally don't want to do. Like, I don't want to be a 911 operator. I don't want to be an emergency room doctor. Like, figuring those out sometimes helps you figure out what you're good at.
Yeah.
And so that just kept flashing in my head. I was like, I this is not for me, this VMIX thing, but I know it will help Evasion. And so Hotel came in, and I'm not usually one to cry unless I'm really like, just, and he was like, Dave, what's going on? I was like, I can't do this. I can't do this VMIX thing. And he's like, all right, I'll tinker with it and I'll see what I can do. And next thing you know, we're like upgrading his, motherboard because he decided that he had to get a Threadripper, and he, we've got to get this because it's not actually pushing enough on the channels over here. And I was like, oh my God. So yeah, we did this huge investment, season 4. And season 5 we kicked it up a little bit more because we did trios, and he got a 3090, which actually like settled down the program a little bit. But he is like nonstop with figuring out if he can do a better transition, if he can present the scoreboard better, if he can just make the experience for the viewer easier. And then you have Brian in the background, Brian and Boosh, who are trying to make sure that the battle mods experience is smooth and that the participants experience is smooth. And then you have all of us that are trying to figure out, like, if we make this event, how does it look? It's a perfect triangle in our mind. How does it look to the viewer? How does it look to the competitor? And how is it for the battle mod? Like, if we can hit all 3 of these on the triangle, we're killing it. So yeah, there's a lot that goes on into it. And like I said, I don't think Hotel's ever been like, I'm good. I'm not going to add anything else. I'm not worried about, like, he is constantly researching and trying to make sure that he's putting out the best product that he can. And I appreciate it a lot. And now I feel like I'm the gopher. Where can I support you guys? Like, I'm updating the website, and I'm downloading the VODs, and I'm trying to check on our social media, and like, how can I best help this grow and keep that communication going with the community? So I'm really proud of it, though. I'm
You
really,
should
really
be.
proud.
It's awesome. I look forward to when when the tournaments are happening, and it's so entertaining from a community aspect as well, because everybody's all just hyped up and seeing chat, seeing the the tweets back and forth. And it's great. It's fantastic. You do all of you
Yeah.
do a fantastic job.
Thank you. Thank you. There's a lot of people that work so hard behind the scenes, and if I could scream like every rooftop, run there and scream their name out, like I totally would, because they deserve it. If I
Yeah.
could give them each a gazillion dollars for everything that they do, I would. But they don't. They do it out of the goodness of their heart. And
Yeah.
I do a fundraiser at the end of every season for them.
Yeah.
And that won't stop. And then that's it. Nobody ever says, yeah, Sigma, like I'm doing this for money, or I'm doing
Right.
this for some type of attention. I've never
Yeah.
been told that.
Now, when did BSG get involved? Because now they're involved. You're doing it on private servers. What was the light that went off in their head saying, "Hey, we need to be into this"?
Dimitri actually opened up a conversation with me probably 2 years ago now, almost 2 years ago. And he was just like, hey, how can we help you? And I was like, like, where do you want me to start? And then I realized, like, I actually don't need a ton of stuff right now. I would really love it if you would, retweet and help us get the word out. We've got
Yeah.
applications going on. And they donated like a couple of accounts that we could give away. And I thought that was really cool. And then I went to them season 4 and I said, I need prize money. Like, I promise, like, I'll make sure that everybody knows it came from you. And they're like,
Yeah.
no, we want to support you. Totally fine. I wrote up a massive, it's all through like a Google Sheets with multiple tabs. This is how I want to handle it. This is our projection. This is what I want for prize money. This is how every event will look. This is what our brackets look like. This is when our applications open. This is when they close. This is when the decision comes out. I mean, we had it squeaky clean laid out and submitted it to them. And then they wrote me back and they said, what about this? What about that? What about this? And we had a little back and forth, and then they approved us for season 4 to support us financially with the prize money. Obviously, they came through season 5 really big, and they let us do trios on private servers, which, holy shit, mind blown.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was really, really cool. I was so happy about that. And then obviously season 6, they've bumped it up even more.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, the private server thing is really like an honor.
The private server thing is huge, because I can't imagine you trying to run tournaments on public servers, because any moron that can get into the server could just cause chaos.
Yeah, we've had I think back in the day, it actually used to be worse. We would have, like a rule, like, listen, if a hacker ruins this or somebody's being a complete twat, then we'll make sure we restart the round. But we specifically designed certain things that to make it work on public, we had to. That was our only option. And the duos, I still love the duos. I don't know if those will ever be moved over to private servers or not. But the duos is so fun on private servers. And sometimes you get stream snipers that come in, but I personally wouldn't go after a duo. That's not, but whatever. But it's always been a lot of fun. I would say for every bad incident, or for every 25 events that we've had, we had 1 or 2 bad things happen. So it wasn't like something that was like, oh, this is ruining it for us.
Yeah. I love the private servers because the play-by-play, you've seen both sides of it, the cat and mouse that goes on. It is so different than, the other esports. It's Tarkov is a different type of esport game, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I've had so many people be like, it's not competitive. Well, that's weird, Bob, because when I won $1,500 last week competing, I felt like it was a tad competitive. I'm sorry, that's a little salty. I just don't like these fucking people that can just come in and be all negative. Like, excuse me, according to the rules, this and this doesn't make it esports worthy. It's like, shut up, we're having a good time.
Yep.
Go away, Karen.
Yeah, I'm telling you, and it is intense. you know, when you got two teams heading for the same extract, you don't know what's going on. That's Tarkov right there.
Yeah, for sure. And there's so many other, I think that's probably one of the things that's been the most flattering is I did this and people kept telling me it was bonkers. It would never work. It's not competitive. This sucks. That sucks. Don't waste your time. And then next thing you know, another tournament popped up and another tournament popped up. And now look at like, these are so cool for the community, whether it is, you know, perfectly done or it's only done in OBS or it's only done with, it doesn't matter. The community has so much fun with this stuff. And that's what makes me really happy. And if those other tournaments grow, we grow. And if we grow, they can grow. You know, we've rallied the troops. We cleared the path for them to be able to do this stuff. And I love that they're doing it. It makes me really happy.
And now to add on to that, and I can't remember if it was the end of last year, you announced a Team Evasion with, you know, Gingy, Baddie, Sheaf. I don't know the rest. There's like a handful of them.
Yeah, so we had 10 to start out. We had 10 people on Team Evasion that were well-known. Some of them were more competitive, some weren't. And then we decided to add to it because we saw that there was a lot of potential out there. And they could support each other. They could bounce ideas off of each other. We could have team play dates, which we have one coming up soon.
Cool.
And we could have podcasts where they could kind of vent to each other or celebrate things. And we just saw the potential there. So we reached out, you know, and these streamers, they go anywhere from, you're talking about Gingy and Robin, like you said, and Sheaf. Sheaf is our team captain, all the way to somebody that might, you know, only be averaging 20 viewers, but we believe in them and they're a great part of the community, like Wildez. He is absolutely killing it. Like when he was starting out, you know, he was hovering around, I think around 15 to 20 viewers when he applied to go to one of the Evasion events. And now he's like killing it. And I'm so proud of him. And those are the types of people that I want to put our name on. Is it doesn't matter whether you're a partner and you average 1,000 people per stream, or if you're that guy that fosters a great community and cheers on your teammates and is consistent with your content. I also want to put my name on you. So yeah, I think it speaks to what Evasion is in general.
I had I asked Wildez and ASh about it, you know, the whole Evasion thing, and they were like, "Yeah, I couldn't believe we got invited. You know, I'm not a head cracker or anything like that." And this, like we create content, and they're just so excited and great guys too. Like everyone who's been on the pod has just been fantastic. You know, it's awesome.
I'm flattered that they trust me. You know, some of them have been involved in other teams before, or a couple of them are still on other teams, and they trusted me enough. Like Baddie, you know, Baddie could have done a gazillion other things, and he was like, "Nah, Sigma, I'm totally on board. I wouldn't mind rocking the Evasion name." And I was like, the fact that these guys trust me and trust us enough in the background of Evasion to wear our name, like ASh, like it's all so flattering, and I just want to support them any way that I can and cheer them on.
Excellent. So what has been the highlight so far for you and Evasion in your mind?
Probably BSG. And oh damn, there's so many little milestones that I look at it, you know, it's like a kid growing up, I guess. You know, they might seem a little bit minor at the time, but you can see that they kind of set a pattern. But, you know, BSG coming in and saying, we'll support your cash prizes. I was like, what the F just happened? You know, that was just last March, February, they approved and said, yes, let's move forward. And I remember that being a big deal. So BSG, VMIX and hotel, and private servers and the battle mods. Like those are the big pillars. Oh,
excellent. And now what goals do you have for this year, or what can you share with something that, you know, without letting too much out of the bag, that you're excited for?
So there's going to be some big things coming up. Unfortunately, I can't really talk about them yet. I would say within the next 3 to 4 weeks, you'll probably know what it is. So I'm
Excellent.
looking forward to that. We are working with Stince now, which I've never brought on a sponsor. FYI, I've never brought on a sponsor before, and the NA weekend for solos, I put it out there and I said, listen, I'm only going to a few people in the community, period. And everybody I went to said yes. And I was like, okay. And Stince came on strong. And I was like, this is so cool. And our logos look amazing next to each other, by the way. We have the same color scheme. But he was such a cool guy. And I want to totally tell everybody about Stince because a bunch of shit went down.
Stince?
Well, so they're a PC builder.
Okay.
And they will customize a PC literally to your needs. You call them up and you say, like, I need A, B, and C, and this is what I'm doing on a daily basis, and this is what I'm doing when I'm gaming. They're able to customize that, and they do genuinely care about your budget, which is shocking because we just had a bunch of drama go down with another PC builder, right? Like, and I don't mean we as in me, because I had nothing to do with that company, but we as in the Tarkov community, a bunch of bullshit went down, and Stince was in business before then, and I had heard good things coming out of Stince, and I was like, and then the shit hit the fan with that other company.
Yeah.
And Stince, as classy as could possibly be, came in and took care of a lot of different shit for people and never asked for it to be made public. They never were like, here's the condition. He just went in there and helped people, and that screamed to me so loud that he didn't need to use it as a publicity stunt. He just wanted to help. And so when I said, I'm going to approach a PC maker and it's going to be Stince, there was no period in between that. Yeah. It was just one continuous sentence, and everybody in Evasion was like, do it. And so I'm really happy to have them on board.
Well, that was going to be one of my things. Is there any sponsors you want to shout out to? So,
Oh, there you
awesome.
go.
Yeah, perfect. So now let's talk Tarkov for a little bit. What got you hooked into playing that game? Because it's addictive.
Yeah, it's super addictive. I think once you get your first kill, or once you get out with decent loot, right? Like you survive and you're trying to organize it and play Tetris in your inventory, you're like greedy. Right now you're getting greedy. Or you kill somebody for the first time and you're like, holy shit, I did it.
Yeah.
I don't know. So that got me hooked. And the team aspect of it, like, it's so intense when you start playing.
Yep.
The risk reward is totally there. And then you have community that comes in and BS's with you. So for a long time, my name was Sigma Inc. TTV because my name was Sigma Inc. back in the day. And people would come in and they'd be like, hey, what's up? Sometimes you get your assholes, but for the most part, people were super chill when they had interactions in game. And so that was it. I was totally hooked. Between the community and the risk reward, like, how could you not?
Yeah, the pucker factor is something else. Even after I've got 1,000 hours into this game, and it's still just the heart races, and nothing compares to that game.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So now, do you nowadays? Do you still get a pucker factor playing the game, or are you really because you've got so much going on? Is when you fire up Tarkov and stream, you're really just a community thing, hanging out with your people?
Yeah, I'm still competitive in it for sure. Like I still want to win every fight. I kick myself. I know that there's a couple other Tarkov streamers that I've talked to that said that they do this, but like I'll be taking a shower reviewing raids in my head. I'm like trying to shampoo my hair. And normal women are probably like, I need to exfoliate and use self tanner later. And in my head, I'm like, did that red dot fuck me? Was it the red dot? Why didn't I move? Why did I peek that way? So I tend to find myself reviewing raids sometimes in my head. A lot of times it is just for fun.
Yeah.
Nowadays, especially now that we're this far into the wipe. But I still get super competitive on things.
It's funny how this game just creates memories. Like you can, for me, I can still remember early raids, and it's crazy.
Yeah, it is. Like I stutter and can't remember some of the most basic things, like what kind of milk I bought the other day. I can't tell you the brand, But if you want to know about the 74M that I used to deck out in the very first wipe I ever had, I could tell you all about that thing. You know, like, good God. We're all going to be in the home, you know, when we're like 120, and we're going to be talking to chat, and we're going to be talking about Tarkov. Like, it's going to be, we all need to go to the same home together, because otherwise we're going to look wacko.
Actually, you just reminded me of something. When we were on when you were on the holiday pod, you made a funny crack about disclaimers. How your mods have disclaimers ready to go because God knows what comes out.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, I sometimes go off the rails, so that's good. I wish I carried one publicly. Maybe I need to put like cards in my wallet for the few times I do go off. I'll just hand over a disclaimer card.
Oh. Now, and again, you know, on Tarkov, we got, you know, something's going on. Are we having a wipe in your opinion? Are we having a soft wipe? What do you think?
No, I think they're just fucking with us right now.
Too. Yep.
And that's one thing people ask me a lot. I'm not referring to you, just asking me. We're just BSing about Tarkov, and it's going to come up. But I get messages that people are like, you know, you run Evasion, you would know. And I'm like, I actually don't know. Like, you have no idea how quiet these people are. It was like 1 or 2 wipes ago, we were in the middle of running certain tournaments, and I was asking BSG nonstop, like, listen, you know what my calendar looks like. Please don't fuck me. If you fuck me, you're fucking so many other people. Like, I need to know when this wipe is so I can move some things around. And they were like, you know, we can't really discuss it. And I'm like, blink twice. Like, you know?
Well, yeah, it was on Christmas time.
Like, do something. Help me.
You had a tournament going on, and it was just like, oh my God, I could only imagine.
Yeah, so they're very tight-lipped about it. And when I say I don't know, I genuinely don't know. But as far as just a Tarkov player, I feel like they're just fucking with us right now.
Me too.
They're like, yeah, we got some cool shit we're going to release, but we're going to mess with you first. So that's my quick take.
And now the man himself, Nikita.
Yeah.
You know, like I talked about this with Veritas at some point when it was just like, do you think he has any idea how many people he has affected or made their lives better?
No, and we've tried to discuss it, you know, in the past. I've been in conversations with him before, and I won't mention like who all was there, but you know, they shared their story. I shared mine. You know, like, my husband gets to stay home now. Like, he was going to retire and be home, and then I was going to go to work. But now, like, we can all be together now because of the game that you made and the game that your team has worked on, and talked about many things. And I don't think that he always understands the positive side because he gets yelled at so much by the community. So I hope he relishes in it sometime.
Knowing how much good he's helped everybody else out. That being said, do you realize how many people you've helped too? Because it trickles down with Evasion. You've had people who've never casted before. You've got Claymore. You've got Rain Cloud's Puff was another one. Like, all these people who are like, because of what you've done with Evasion, it's trickled down and they're getting exposure to doing things they've never done before.
Yeah, that's funny because I just talked about Nikita and being like, I don't think he gets it. And then I'm sitting here like, oh shit, I didn't like think about it that way necessarily. I really hate that people get judged just based on their like Twitch numbers.
Yeah.
And so when we were looking for casters, I didn't need to like go use my influence and ask this person or that person and say, you know, can we do this? I just kind of threw it out there and was like, hey, you know, if you can hold a mic and talk about the gameplay, like, we've got something to build on. And I remember Bunny was like, I'm totally down to do it. And I think I asked him like a couple days before an event or something. I was like, hey, do you want to come cast with me? And he was like, oh shit, sure. And then he's flourished with it. And I'm really big on giving people chances. You know, if they want to try something, like, I've got an avenue for you to try. So
yeah. Bunny's a natural at it. He's got the voice for it. It's a perfect fit. So now, speaking of content creators, is there anybody who you've come across recently that people should go check out? You know, in all that time you have.
Oh my gosh, yes. Usually, like, I'm in everybody's stream, like, right off, get-go. I try to meet everybody that's new. There's actually been some newer streamers lately that just aren't streaming because they've been busy buying a house or, busy getting back into work, and things like that. But honestly, anybody on the Evasion team, I would never doubt that you should go check them out. We have actually Adam. He's getting a little bit closer to looking at partner.
Oh,
but
good.
his gameplay in Tarkov is sick. Like, that dude's a full Chad. And when you watch him and Sheaf get together, that duo is like mind-boggling on that one too. Cool. So they're impressive. But yeah, anybody from Evasion, like I said, we have streamers that have 30, 40 viewers. Go check them out and say hi.
Excellent. Now, speaking of, running with people, first of all, who do you normally run with when you're streaming at night? Who's your sort of core group that you end up rolling with?
So I like to play with Bunny. I like to play with Jeepo. I play with a lot of people from my community. I just love them. They're so laid back and chill. I play with a couple of my mods. I don't necessarily like go out and try to sneak big streamers to run with or anything. Gingy, speaking of big streamers, Gingy, I love running with her. Basically, it's chasing the loot. Is what it is. She always knows where the good loot is.
She does. I don't know where she finds all that stuff. This is amazing, the stuff she gets. Yeah.
I constantly tell her, like, they need to have an in-game item that's like a 4-leaf clover or a rabbit's foot or just something that would represent Gingy, you know? Like, that would be really cool. But yeah, I run with a bunch of different people. I think I'm actually supposed to catch up with a few of them next week. I think I set some out, so we'll see.
All right. And now, the ultimate 5 or 4 person squad you could run with. Any of the OGs from Tarkov, who maybe nobody's, one of these you've never ran with, who would you like to get in a raid with?
Okay, wait. So am I running raids with them, or am I building like a dream team?
No, you are running a raid with 4 other people as like you've never ran, expanding any of the crew who's ever been playing Tarkov. Like, is it going to be Dr. Disrespect? Is it going to be, so you have a wish list right now. You can, throw out their names. They're running with a raid with you tomorrow.
Shit. We got to do it when Pest was living in EU. All of us got to play together. So all of my teammates, but there's 5 of them.
Yeah.
Ooh. I'm going to say Anton has to sit out.
Okay. So Slush, Veritas, Pastilli, and who am I missing?
Did you say Veritas?
I thought I said Veritas.
Ghost
Slush.
Freak?
Yeah, Ghost Freak. That's the one. Okay. So there you go.
Because Ghost Freak let me shoot him and he didn't get mad at me, which was 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
I really appreciated that. Running with Pest on Labs back in the day, when Labs first came out, was like fucking hilarious. I had so much fun with that. I miss that a lot. So if I could do that, if I could go back to that again, go back to old Labs, like rerun those raids, I would totally do it.
Oh, fantastic. Actually, you just reminded me of, the good in Tarkov and Nikita and whatnot, just with Pastelli. How much money he's raised for charities and everybody else in the community who's done this because of Nikita. It's so awesome. Like every other day, somebody's doing some charity event with it, whether it's Markstrom for the Gamers Outreach or, it's so good to see.
Yeah, it's amazing. I really wonder, like, God, if you could put all of this together, how much people have raised for charities because of Tarkov, that would be like, what?
Yeah.
Damn. If I had to take a guess, I think we would probably be close to 4 or 5 million.
Yeah. I think if not more. Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Easily.
So now, you've got nothing going on with streamer class. Evasion's, on the back burner. What are you doing? And you're not streaming. What's happening in your life?
Well, we talked about this before we started. So I just had to really look at what I was doing to myself physically and mentally, because streaming can be very exhausting. you spend a shit ton of time obviously on your channel. But if you're genuinely trying to grow, now you're managing your social media, now you're managing your YouTube, now you're managing your TikToks. Like there's just a whole world of things that you have to manage. And it can just be exhausting and physically suck. So I put on 40 pounds. I'm definitely not going to hide that. I've put on about 40 to 41 pounds over the last 4 years of streaming. And it's just come from days of sitting in this damn chair 12 to 16 hours a day. My bed's like 11 or 12 feet away. Like it's ridiculous. And so I just recently had a very like eye-opening moment of like, damn, dude, like clothes in my closet don't fit and I don't feel good and I'm on blood pressure medication and I'm not eating well and I'm not sleeping well. So the last 6 weeks, so about 6 weeks ago, I just started moving and making sure that I was getting exercise. And so I backed off of streaming. I focused a lot on Evasion because we have so much going on.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm really going to give this the attention it deserves. And I'm going to give myself the attention that I deserve. And so that's what I've been doing. Every morning I wake up now, I go downstairs, I hang out in my gym for like, I don't know, 2.5 hours. I watch TV. I go like 2 to 3 miles and I lift heavy things repeatedly and I don't want to do it, or at least I didn't want to do it at first. Like the first 2 weeks was a fucking asshole.
Oh.
Excuse my language. The first 2 weeks are terrible. So I should have said. And I didn't want to be there. And now I'm waking up and I'm like, dude, I'm going to go to the garage. I'm going to walk. I'm going to watch these shows that I've been thinking about watching that I keep putting off.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some of my shows I'm like a couple years behind because I just stopped everything once I started streaming. So it's been nice.
Good for you.
And then I'm going to come back to my channel, but I think I'm going to get really strict about it and start off with like a 3-day a week stream, you know, keep it to like 6 hours and under. Yeah. Because I really miss my chat. Like I love my chat. These people, I get to like BS with them and hang out. And I feel so honored that they take the time to come hang out with me and let me know about their day and you know, what they're celebrating in their life. And so I feel bad that I've been MIA in that sense. And so I want to get back to it, but I really needed to give myself some time.
Excellent. Good for you.
Yeah.
Now, what shows are you watching or catching up on?
So actually, Hotel and I have been watching Ballers lately.
Oh, okay.
And I've really enjoyed that. We're watching Peaky Blinders. I have Below Deck on Bravo. Yeah. I don't know why. Like we really love that show, so we watched that. And as a family, what we were doing before we came to this is we cooked a turkey today. Like, I don't know why, but chicken was like really expensive, and we're like, this turkey is cheap. Fuck it, let's make a turkey. And so we made a turkey, and we watched the third Pirates of the Caribbean because we've been stuck on that. So
nice. Cool.
Yeah, I'm enjoying that stuff. So
fantastic. All right. Well, hey, you survived a Tarducks podcast. Who are you going to call out as, you know, putting them up on under the spotlight that they should come on the podcast?
Oh,
this is where you get to have some fun now.
Damn. I'm gonna. Ooh. So I'm thinking about Evasion. You should either call out Hotel.
All right. Well, you said he's shy. So...
Yeah, I don't know if that'll work, but if you interview Brian, I don't think he uses a cam. So
well, hey, that's okay. We don't need a cam because I had garlemmm didn't have a camera, and Wilbur, who is Deadly's brother, he didn't have a cam. So cam's not required. And I told that to Kings. Kings is coming on too at some point. So I got a word from him. So now who's Brian?
So Brian Berou is the one that is in charge of all of like the battle mods and a lot of behind the scenes work that you see on Evasion. He's like our Google Sheets expert. He helps me with the website now. Like, he like preps the whole team for what we're going to be working on. So he would be a really good one. I got so many. I'm like, oh God. And then Trent AU, if you haven't like talked to Trent.
I have not.
Yeah. Trent AU he's really cool. Smart as a fucking whip, dude. That guy is really smart. He's on top of it with a lot of things. So
all right, there we go. Got a couple of if I may need your help if I reach out to Hotel.
Yeah, I'll have to check with them and be like, hey, so I might have thrown your name out there. But yeah, we'll see.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I can't thank you enough. I really, really appreciate this. And when I started this podcast, like, you were in the top 3 of I got to get Sigma on because of all the shit that you do. And it's just so cool.
Oh,
so thank
thanks.
you.
I appreciate that. That's really awesome to hear. Yeah,
So,
I'm
yeah,
grateful to
thank you.
be here and hang out with you. And you were so patient waiting for me to get through all the stuff I had to get through. So
Oh, it's worth it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. We'll talk later.